go over this video. And basically, Anton Daniels, if you know about him, he's the conservative of all conservatives. He's like the big boss. But the reason why I stopped like really following him is I think he does things to get a rise out of people. You know what I mean? To get a reaction out of people, because it helps his platform. Let's just be honest. Like even this video right here will help you know who he is. But my belief in my philosophy is if they show you who you are, just believe them. You know what I mean? Don't get mad. Just believe them. That's how I feel with this. I watched a little bit, but I'm gonna watch the rest with y'all. Young Don, he's a streamer or YouTuber, but I just wanted to watch his I guess his detail of this person. The reason why I'm doing this video in the first place is because I remember earlier today I was watching Medium Man. If you know about Medium Man, he gives you the percentage and the data. He gives you this data because not only has the propaganda about black folks have been negative, but also the context behind the data. The reason why I bring up Medium Man is that he gives us the data, right? And he says that all you black folks that believe that it's so many black folks in prison and, you know, victimhood and all that good shit, get out of here with that, right? And he is right. The data says that basically it's maybe 1% of black folks in prisons. You understand what I mean? We can go to the video. I'm gonna link both of the videos, right? But I'm saying all this for a reason, just in case.
Throw it over your head.
Lord, not him.
The one thing.
Is that Markiplier? Oh, his niece in a car accident. A close friend, Daniel, one of the founders who took his life. Markiplier opens about his mental health in early life. Damn. And Markiplier that's why he took a fucking back from the
Stop using this damn lie saying that I'm gonna critique the black community, I'm gonna talk shit about the black community because I just want the black community to do better. We see right through y'all asses.
Yeah.
What about white men who make up the largest share of individuals convicted for?
The thing is that they basically skip over the fact that white people produce a lot of the population. Let's just keep it a buck. There's a lot of white people in this country. I know black people want to believe that if we just have sex with the white and mix cohabitate with white people and have enough sex with, that's, first of all, the fact that you even thinking that, you need to go get help. That if we're going to just fuck our way into the top, like we're going to fuck our way into the most populated, like, fix yourself. Think. Think. But the reason why I'm saying this is because there's a lot of black people that feel as though we could just have sex with white people, and if we just mix our blood, our DNA, and have the 5% rule, which goes into the whole issue with 5% black, you're not considered black or you're not considered white type shit. Like you're playing into the problem. You feel me? But that's neither here nor there. But he was talking about conservative black men in this post and how they were basically agreeing with a lot of the false narratives in this post, right?
SA or child exploitation cases. I never hear y'all talk about that.
But basically, because of there being, it's just mathing, you know what I mean? Because of there being so many white folks in this country, of course, there's going to be a lot of white folks that go to jail, right? Rightfully so. It's just math thing. But the math ain't mathing when it comes to the fact that there's more. We are in third as far as the population. There's at least white people, Hispanic and Latino, and then us, right? That's crazy. I didn't even know that part. But when I think about it, white people kind of look the same when it comes to how they are viewed. Because white people, Hispanic, Latino people can look white. You understand what I mean? So you don't know. You know what I mean? You don't know. And even with that, you have European white, you have, Spaniard white. You know what I mean? Like, you get what I'm talking about? So that's neither here nor there. But what I'm saying, the math ain't mathing. How is it that we're third, 12% of U.S. Population, but we take up damn near 38, I want to say, 38% of the population in jails? You understand? Yeah. And don't get it twisted. I think that white people still take up most because of their population. But how are we damn near second to first? You feel me?
To all the black men that are sharing this type of stuff about the black community, and I never hear you guys talk about that. Why is that? Why y'all never talk about white women to stop leading in absolute numbers when it comes to welfare and SNAP benefits? Why don't you tell white women to get off government assistance and stop weaponizing those programs against black women? Why I never hear y'all talk about this shit? Interesting.
I'm going to go to one of them.
You guys, this is about 13 to 14% of the population. However, according to the U.S. Bureau of Justice Statistics. Now, I know people are like, man, that's only 10%. Let me put something in perspective for you guys. For the people who are new here, do you know how many people in the United States are incarcerated, i.e. in prison, in any type of jail, confinement, whatever? Do you guys know the total population of people who are currently in prison? If you don't, let me tell you, it's nearly 2 million. 2 million. Okay?
It's like 1.7
of the prison population.
1,700,000.
That comes out to a little over 700,000 black men, black women, and juveniles. Okay? 700,000. Do you know how many black people live in the United States? Around 48,000. So if I'm telling you that a little over 700,000 black people are incarcerated right now, what does that mean? That means less than 1% of the black community is incarcerated. So when you...
And to his point, I was going to make a comment, but I was like, I'd rather just make a video. To his point, he is right? 1%. But I'm saying that, let me just show you the data that I've fucking collected myself. Just so I could just don't be talking on my ass. So I asked, basically, do black Americans account for 18% of the homeless population? I was talking about the homeless population because he was talking about the homeless population, but I'm not sure if he said that specifically. But we're going to go to the actual data behind the jail population because that's what we need to talk about with this video. I asked, how many black people in America compared to the black people in prison? Basically. And I also asked, is there nearly 2 million black folks in prison? No. The data shows that there are not nearly 2 million in just prison. You understand? You got to be careful with your words. You do. Though there are large numbers of black people in prisons and jails when combined, and black folks are disproportionately incarcerated. I'll break down what I found is clear. What the data says, which they provide a link to the Bureau of Justice Statistics, in 2022, U.S. Department of Justice reported that there were 1,723,000 black persons under correctional supervision, which includes prisons, jails, parole, probation, not just in prisons. Of those, the number in state or federal prisons with sentences is much smaller. For example, older data from 2017 noted that 475,000 black individuals in state federal prisons with sentences over a year. The total prison population of the U.S., everyone in jail, is around 2.1 to 2.3, and black people are roughly 30 to 40% of that, depending on how incarcerated in prisons are defined. You understand what I mean? Words and shit. Word matter. So, is nearly 2 million black folks in prison accurate? If by in prison you mean just in state federal prisons serving sentences, then no, it's much less than 2 million. If by in prisons, jails, parole, i.e. all forms of, the total number of in the justice is closer to that realm in the millions. But even that, nearly 2 million only works if you only count specific subsets or mixed categories. The common statistic is 1.7 million for black persons under correctional supervision is often And I basically, if you want to, I could find. I basically asked them how many black people are in America compared to that of black people in prison. Then, and he said, "Here's a breakdown." And I can provide the links if y'all want to. Well, I'm gonna just basically give you the link and show you, so you can just screenshot it yourself. Screenshot it yourself. I'm gonna bring it here. Damn it, I can't bring it. Damn shit. I'm gonna just click the links so I could just link it into the video. But this is pure research data, Juris News, and Bureau of Justice and Statistics. Actually, PDFs and whatnot. Just so, motherfuckers be like, well, it's AI. But I asked how many black people in America compared to that of black people in prison then. Here's a breakdown comparing black population in the U.S. versus the number incarcerated or in prison. The reason why I asked that is because so many black folks and white people that are afraid of black folks have been fearmongered into who we are as people. They think that all we do is criminal activity. They think that all we are bad people. And they think that all that comes from us is, and I understand the fear because even our own people fear us. It just is what it is. It just is what it is. Even when I was growing up, if I was going to school, there were black folks that probably didn't want to fuck with me because I was from the projects. You understand what I mean? I remember this one girl, Jessica. I fucking fuck with her, man. I still hope she's doing well. She was a Christian girl, very into the church, but she was like, fuck all that shit. I know you from, the hood. I know you from the projects, but I fuck with you, and I want to see you do better. She would actually invite me to do shit with her and shit. I'm kind of like an introvert at heart, but I appreciate people that look past the visuals of just a hoodlum. Like, I ain't gonna hold you. I was coming to work with holy felines because I couldn't afford nothing better. Like, at the time, I was a kid and I'm not working a job. My mom couldn't afford nothing other than that. And then sometimes she would put me on punishment sometimes and be like, all you going to school was a t-shirt and some jeans, but they would be dingy ass t-shirt and dingy ass jeans. You can't do that no more. They call defects on your ass. But yeah, she was cool as fuck. And I appreciate people that look past the visual of you're just a regular nigga. Like, you just a nigga. And it could have been the whole aspect of, because I ain't gonna say I'm ugly. You feel me? I ain't gonna say I'm ugly. I ain't gonna say I'm fucking phenomenally handsome either. I was alright. You feel me? I was alright. You feel me? But she looked past that regardless. She looked past that and she seen that I was a cool dude. You feel me? But I say all that to say that there are even people of higher class that are black folks that look down upon, speaking of Anton Daniels, that look down upon some black people because of their circumstances or whatnot. And going back to the healthy gamer situation, you could just do better. What you doing yourself? You ain't doing no with yourself. You might as well. You need to take the risk. You need to whoop-de-doo type shit. You feel me? But it says black population. I say, how many black people in America compared to the black people in prison? Black population in the U.S. in 2023, an estimated 48.3 million people in the U.S. identified as black alone or in combination. Now, stick a pin in that because we also need to talk about the aspect of how some black Caribbeans, black immigrants will come and say that I'm either immigrant or that type of shit. So you got to differentiate that because it could be black American or ADOS type of shit, or basically black American because they are Haitian American and whatnot, or black American because they are Nigerian American. You know what I mean? That type of shit. It is about 14.4% of the U.S. population, right? Another source, I can give you all the source. I'm going to just link all of this shit because I'm going to just click the links because I just don't want no issues. Motherfuckers be like, oh, where's the data? Where's the data? I'm going to just link everything inside the fucking description. 14.4, another source of the Census Bureau's quick facts page shows that black alone percent as 13.7 as of the latest tables. So roughly 1 in 7 people in the U.S. are black. Black people in the U.S. prisons incarcerated, according to the Bureau of Statistics, as of recent counts, there are 59,000 black people in federal prisons. But that number is just for the federal prison system, not including state prisons or local jails. Now, stick a pin in that because there was a point in time, I think I told you in a past video, there was a point in time where the incarceration rate for black people in Louisiana alone was like damn near top of the top what do you call it, the fucking top flight in the world, Craig. Like it was like literally world record incarceration rate. That's a problem. People look at the aspect of it's not that many black folks in prison. What you should look at is the rate in which black people go to prison or go to jail. You know what I mean? It's not just the aspect of it's not that many black people in prison. You know what I mean? Like, there's even conservatives that bring up that aspect where it's not that many black people in jail until your ass end up in jail. And then you wonder why. For what? Now you got a criminal record. For what? That's neither here nor there. According to Bureau, yeah, I never read that. But that number is just for the federal prison systems, not including local jails. In the state federal prison system overall, in 2022, 32% of sentenced prisoners were black. In many analyses of prisons and jails combined, black people represented 38% of the incarcerated population, 13% of the general population. In 2018, about 465 black inmates were serving time in state federal prisons. A statistic often cited: 1 in 81 black adults in the U.S. is serving time in state prison. Comparison interpretation. Putting those pieces together, there are 48 million black people in the U.S. Only a fraction of that, hundreds of thousands, not millions, are in state federal prisons at any given time. Yet, black people are greatly overrepresented among incarcerated populations relative to their share of the population. Exactly what I just said. The math ain't mathing. 13 to 14% of the population versus 32 to 38 of prisoners incarcerated. If you like, I can find the very latest figure, 2024. I said do that. I also wanted to know, if we account for 38% of the prison jail per population, then what about the other races? What's the percentage of Asian, Indian, white, and Latino? Cool question. It says most recent data gives us a clearer picture. What the data says is race ethnicity breakdown in state federal prisons 2022. From prisoners in 2022 statistically tables. The reason why I'm bringing this all up is because I want it to be clear that we do not do anything, bruh. We don't do anything. It makes no sense. The math ain't mathing. We don't do anything, bruh. And then the people that do and take the risk, it still ain't mathing for us to account for 38% of the jail population. From prisoners in 2022 statistical tables, 32% of sentences state federal prisoners were black. How? 31 were white. Again, how? It's like they literally sentence white people less with their overpopulated in America, but they less likely to be sentenced. How? Just ask the question how. That's all. Ask the question how. The math ain't mathing. 23% is Hispanic Latino. We're going to stick a pin in that. 2% were American Indian and 1%. So in that domain, state federal prisons, Asians represent negative, 1%, I guess. Race breakdown in local jails, mid 2022. 48% were held in jail were white. You understand? The math ain't mathing. 48% were held in jail, but 31% from prisoner statistically tables were white. Do you understand what I mean? 35% were black, 14 were Latino, and remaining 3% were American, Indian, Alaskan, Asian, Pacific. That's just the whole group. Which I understand because it's not too many. You know what I mean? I understand the math. It's not that many. It's like pockets, but it's not that many. And then we've been in this country for longer. The Prison Policy Initiative says that black people make up 37% of the total prison jail population across all correctional settings, while representing 13% of the U.S. Give me a minute. But come on now. All right. While representing 13% of the U.S. population. And beyond the count, report on state prisons. For state prisons, 34% identifies black, 32 white, 21 Hispanic, 11 multiracial, 9 whoop-de-doo. Interpretations and caveats. So yes, the 32% of figures for black in state federal prisons is solid. Asian are among the smallest share in these prison settings, around 1% in the state federal prison system. Whites are 31% in that same system. The math ain't mathin'. Hispanic Latino typically make up 20 to 25%. American Indian, Alaska Native are 2% in that setting. In jails, the distribution shift a bit more whites, etc., but similar patterns of overrepresentation of black Latino relative to general population. I just want to know this part, just so we could get some more math into this shit. So I'm going to copy this. If this is the data, and I'm going to copy paste this. Oh, shit. If this is the data, then if I'm going to just do some research, because if 1% of black people, then if 1% of black folks are in jail, prison, what's the percent of white folks? Because we damn near neck and neck, but the population just don't math. You feel me? What's the percent of white folks in jail and prison compared to their population? You're asking in the right way by comparing incarceration rates to each group's population share. So, population, and this is 2022 data. Black people make up 13% of the U.S. population, but 32 to 38% of the prison population, 1,200 to 100,000. Math. White people, non-Hispanic, make up 58% of the U.S. population. They take up 31 to 33% of the prison population. We neck and neck. How? 200, they have less than us. 214 per 100,000. The math is not mathing. Hispanic Latino, 19%, 23 to 25, 340. Do you get what I'm talking about? They have more than us and still less. They have, their population in the U.S. is 19%. Black people are 13%. How are they only 300 per 100,000? And we are 1,200 per 100,000. So yes, we may make up 1% of our population in those jails to the black people that believe that it's not that big of a deal. It's just 1% of us. I'm saying the math ain't mathing. It should be less. If we're going by the numbers, the statistics, it should be less. Because when we go by the numbers, It proves the point of how black folks, white folks, Asian folks, by the numbers, they should be afraid of us. They should be by the numbers. When we see the amount of people that, black people that go to jail, falsely incriminated, lose their life in jail. I just watched a postal employee lose his life because he was having a stroke and he had medical symptoms driving down the wrong side of the road. They put him in jail, did not do any drug tests, but they said he was on drugs, did not do any drug tests. And when they did do the drug tests after the fact, they didn't do any drug tests at the moment to make sure that he, like, check his pulse, check his vision or whatnot, check his blood. When they got to the jail, they did the drug test, came back, not detected any drugs. They didn't even do their job at the point of him being alive. He lost his life. He died in a jail cell on the floor. He had a stroke, some type of stroke or whatnot, and died. He was in jail when he died to no fault of his own, because America look at black folks like hoodlums, thugs, and fucking people that should be in prison because of numbers like this. I'm saying question the numbers. I'm saying the devil's in the detail with the numbers. I'm saying there's context that needs to be had. There's nuances. If you could look at the number 214 for white people, 349 for the Hispanic, and they are 58% for white and 19, they're more than us. And we still, that don't make you think like something ain't right. So even when people were like Medium Man, who I believe is somewhat conservative with his views, and even myself, I'm somewhat conservative with my views on certain things. But it's like I still question why I think the way that I think. You know what I mean? Like, I just had a fucking hour and 30-minute, like, that wasn't even for y'all. That was just for me. Just to get out my feelings on the point of feeling the way I feel about that specific topic of mental health and how it pertains to people and how we should be careful on how we talk about certain things with mental health. I also feel the same way with this, because you'll have black folks that will say it's just 1%. Why are you tripping? Like, it's just 1% of black population. I'm saying that because it should be less. If we're going by the numbers and you go by the numbers, Medium Man, it should be less. Something ain't right. The numbers ain't numbering. The math ain't mathing just by looking at this data. I'm gonna link all of the sources and whatnot. But what that actually means, if we imagine 100,000 people from each racial groups, about 1,200 black people are in prison or jail, 214 people, white people are in prison or jail, 349. The only number that makes sense to me is the Asian number. I just don't think that the only number that makes sense to me is the Asian number. Because Asian people be trying to stay out their way. They do dirt every now and then when it comes to the black population. They be trying to do the Asian hate shit because we have that number, and it proves the point of why they should fear us, right? And also proves the point of why black people should fear other black people by the numbers. By the numbers. Even though, to Medium Man's point, it's just 1%. It's not that big of a deal. It should be less. It should be less. Why it feels confusing at first. If you only look at total numbers like 32% black, 31%, it looks close. But remember, white makes up 58%, damn near 60% of the total population, while blacks are only 13%. Why are we going to jail at such a high rate? Why? Are we just it proves the point of white people saying that we are naturally criminals. Naturally. And we know that's not true. But when we don't talk about issues like this, rather than talk about issues of generalities or whatnot, you know what I mean? General statements, blanket statements of it's just 1%. It's just 1% of black folks. So why are we doing the rah-rah? And then on the other side, it's so many black folks that go to jail. You know, the other side is the black conservative side. It's so many black folks that go to jail. We should fear them. That's what people mean when they say the system is racially disproportionate, even though total raw numbers might seem similar on paper. Now, I have a chart, and I wanted to ask, I would like to chart the visually so I can clearly see how the population share versus incarceration share looks like side by side. Look at the white. The yellow, share U.S. population, share prison population. You see the white folks. You see the blue is the prison population of the white folks. That's how a number should look. Now, I say that's how a number should look, but we also know that who runs this country. With all of that being said, that number should look like that, but at the same time, I'm thinking it should probably be a little bit higher as far as the prison. You know what I'm trying to say. They let their own folks go. We come on now. We still fighting fucking Gisclain or whatever the. We seen Trump. We seen Trump, bruh. So it's like, you know what I mean? But again, if we talking about the numbers should look like, it should be a little bit higher. It should. It should. By their population capita, by the numbers, it should be higher. It just don't make any sense. It's not mathing. To the Hispanic Latino, we see the population, we see the the prison. You see, and then the black folks. Now with the Hispanic people, they have more population than us in the U.S. I didn't even know that. And we've been here for over, 400 plus years. But again, because we make up 13%, they make up 19%. How are we still? They're 243 compared to our 1,200 in jail per 100,000. How? So, I say all that to say.
Okay, like what?
I feel like we have enough to deal with in this world, let alone people.
Anton Daniels and his loyal fan base, especially his black loyal fan base, would probably default to some kind of argument of Anton Daniel is not anti-black. He just holds black people accountable. This is the excuse they hide behind. Okay, sure. But this is what you can't run from. If you lie about the realities of black people for the sake of making them look worse, you're a sellout. You're a grifter. You're lying. Why would you as a black person willfully lie about black people? And so let's go ahead and take a look at this video and hear this.
To answer that question is because it makes money. We're in the age where now rage bait makes money. Him making this video, a lot of black people is going to flood to the video. They're not going to go to Young Dons like that. Most of the conservatives are going to go to Anton Daniels' page. They love the clickbait shit. It's like red meat for people that's in that type of space. It's meat's back on the menu, boys, on some Lord of the Rings shit. It just is what it is. But for the black folks that are not of that belief, get it out of your algorithm as much as you can, because the moment you watch those videos, the moment YouTube just starts suggesting you more of those videos. The moment you watch that type of content, react to that content, comment on that content, even if you comment in the comment section of that content on Instagram, TikTok, it suggests it more because you're interacting. It's not good or bad to the algorithm. It's interaction. So be safe. I'm giving you the numbers. I'm giving you the statistics. I'm making you try to question the data because the data is the data. I'm trying to say, why is the data the way it is? 1 + 1 = 2. I'm trying to get, how did you get to that? You understand what I mean? Because 1 + 1 = 2, but the data and that shit that we just watched, that was 1 + 1 = 560. 1 + 1 = 1,240. You feel me? How? When white people make up 60% of the population in America and only account for less than 500 to 100,000 of the prison population. But we are 13%. less than white people and Hispanic people, and we can't account for 1,200? Some ain't right. It's a propaganda on both sides, on the liberal side, black folks, and on the conservative side of black folks. Both sides harm us, and I think it's definitely intentional for sure.
So white woman spout her racist bullshit and watch Anton agree with it, and then watch me obliterate it. Let's go.
White people aren't racist if they avoid black people.
Huh?
If you go out of your way to avoid black people,
See what I just said?
you're not racist. Why would you want to be put in a predicament?
You see what I just said? Remember what I just said about the aspect of even black people feel this way about other black people. You understand what I mean? Rather than looking at them with empathy and looking at them with some type of humanity, they literally say there's nothing you can do about them. They are literally scum of the earth type shit. Like, they can't fix themselves. You can't fix them. They are inherently evil type shit. You see what I'm getting? Like, it's just nasty work, man. It's just nasty fucking work. It is. It is.
You never know what's going to happen. You truly don't. You could look at
Couldn't you say that about anybody, though? You could walk into a room with anybody of any race, and you don't know what's going to happen.
You don't.
But why do black people have a why are they treated special?
Because they have a data to prove why she thinks the way she thinks. Because they have data to prove why she thinks the way she thinks. She can just go to the data. It's so many of y'all in prisons. Y'all make up 38%, right? Nobody questions the data because the data is just the data, right? Nobody questions the data because it's like my point of nobody questions Healthy Gamer because Healthy Gamer has been in the field, right? He's literally a professional in his field. Be careful of the people that you getting with the data, man. Even Anton Daniels, he been hitting folks with the data. Like, it's good to get your information, but even if it is to get your information from the other side, I ain't saying that you shouldn't watch people from the other side, but don't get triggered. Just question yourself and be like, all right, let me get the actual information. Because that don't sound right. That don't sound right.
Okay, let's see.
them wrong and they get mad and loud and aggressive.
Wow.
So if avoiding black people for your own safety is racism now, well, then I guess I'm racist. I guess I care more about my well-being and my family and my life.
Wow.
So I'll take it. I guess I'll be racist if that's what it means. Because it means a million things. It means a million things.
Okay. Like what?
I feel like we have enough to deal with in this world, let alone people that live in the cities can't even take public transportation. They can't even go into a gas station. They can't even go into a store.
Wow.
When I go to the city, I avoid certain gas stations. I know that that's the cracky gas station. I know that's the ghetto girl.
Gas station.
I know it. You can just look at it and you know exactly what you're going to get when you go in there.
The cracky gas station is
and
crazy.
you know what? When I drive through Texas, if I ever have to drive through a small sundown town, I'm not stopping there either.
Yep.
And so I'm not telling this woman that she's wrong.
Yep.
Listen, I'm going to teach my children what it looks like when you're in the hood.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? I'm going to teach my children that, look, when you go to certain low
income neighborhoods. You see what I mean? You see what I mean? But also, on the other side, to his point too, is that when you go to sundown towns, we don't look at it like the hood. We look at it like these white folks will kill us at a certain point of time in the day if we don't get our ass out the fucking way. We don't look at it like gangs. We look at it like this they land. When you take up 60% of the land, this is your land. This is. As much as we want to talk about American pride and American people, America, fuck yeah. Listen, when you take up 60% of this motherfucker, and then you put us in jail by $1,200 per 100,000, you feel me? You kind of skeptical too. You looking at him like, I don't think I should be over here with these white folks at a certain point in time of day. I mean, they smile at us in the daytime, but they had them damn pillowcases at night, boy. They had them damn pillowcases at night, boy. That's all I'm gonna say. If you know, you know. My bad.
Income, high crime communities, you better walk around. Well, you shouldn't be walking around there at all if you have no business being there. But if you find yourself there, you better keep your head on a swivel and don't stop at the gas station at night. Those are all legitimate things to consider. However, when you take the fact that that is a reality in a very, very, very tiny, small portion of the black community and then apply it to
1%.
all black people.
1%.
When, let's be honest,
1%. Like I said before, it's 1%. By going by the numbers, it's 1% of black folks that are in jails, right? 1%. I'm saying to you, it should be lower. It should be less. It should. By the numbers, by the math, it should be less. If we're going by comparison to other people, then that 1% means that we are still inherently fucked up because of the rate at which black people go to jail. The rate, not the number, the rate, not the 1%, the rate. Meaning a black child from the ages 8 all the way to 25, right, has a high percentage of being incarcerated in their life. That matters. That means something. Something. It's like that's an anomaly. Something is wrong. Something is wrong. Why? Why don't you question this shit? You feel me? Like, it don't make sense.
this bitch ain't going to no fucking black neighborhoods, bro. Let's get real for a second.
She's just naturally
I
scared
didn't
of
grow up
black
in the
people.
hood in America, but I am friends with some guys who did. And something I've heard one of my black American friends say, who comes from a lower income background, he said, you don't
Young Don, I think he's Canadian. But this is the case for even black folks that's in America. You know what I mean? There's some black folks that just ain't about that hood life. You feel me? Ain't never been to the projects. You feel me? And that's what I mean by the conservative folks that actually back up shit like what Anton Daniels say. You know what I mean? Or would say. I'm not sure what he's going to say.
really see white people in the hood like that. The only time you see white people in the hood, especially white women, is when they're drunk.
No, they are scared of black folks in the general population. That's what she's scared of, which is even more horrifying because you're scared of regular fucking black folks. Regular black folks. They all are the same to them, to white folks. They're all the same. And I'm not gonna hold you. I got fucked up views about white people. I do. Because of their views of us. I have fucked up views. It's kind of like the saying of hurt people hurt people. I'm sorry. I have the visions of even the most nicest kind white folks will somehow harm me because the road to hell is paved in good intentions. I don't know how else to describe that shit. But I just feel as though they do not have my best interests in because of them not understanding how this country works and taking up 60% of this country. We could be friends, we could be cool, but I feel as though if we were ever put in circumstances and dire situations, I would not be looked at as a human being. I would be looked at as a nigga. I'm just gonna keep it a buck. I don't expect white people to put their life on the line for me. I don't. On some humanity shit. I don't. And with that expectation, I see the numbers. I see what it's done to not only white people, but I see what it's done to Hispanic people and what they view black people. I see what it's done to Asian people and the way they view black people. I see what it's done to black people and the way they view black people. It's literally a mind thing, bruh. It just is what it is. And my fear of their fear is only me protecting myself. I'm sorry. My fear of their fear of me, it's like I have to move slow and reach before they think that I'm trying to pull out a gun and I'm just trying to pull out a motherfucking stylus. I just want a stylist. I'm the artist. I just want the stylist. But you think that all black people are fucking criminals, so you think I'm going for a gun or some weed. It's like, bruh, like, it's a sickness. On some Alvin and Preach shit. It is a sickness.
Or they're rebelling against their parents and they fetishize black gang culture and they want to be around dudes like that. Think about your Bad Babies. Think about your Whoa Vickies.
Yeah.
Or cops.
Yeah.
That's really it. Or drug heads, crackheads, white crackheads. Then you'll see them in the hood. You really don't see white people in the hood. You definitely don't see white women that look like this in the hood. You know what I'm saying? And so she's making this up. She's making this up as if this is a part of her daily reality. But the statistics tell us a completely different story. And if this woman was to walk through life in a way where she was trying to avoid the greatest threat to her in regards to other groups of people or other demographics, do you know what group of men pose the greatest threat to white women? If you've been,
we know. If we're going to talk about that IPV, intimate partner violence, it's usually somebody that's just close to you. We know that. If we know and we talked about on the channel, if we know for a fact that when black folks with IPV, it's usual bilateral violence against each other. Yes, men have a higher rate of violence towards women when it comes to harm, as far as deaths, because men are fucking powerful. They're powerful, and I think that when women think that they can go blow for blow with men, it's dangerous. It's dangerous. I know women be thinking that I want a nigga that can yoke me up and control me. No, you don't want a man that want to put his hands on you, baby. You want a man that actually love you and leave you if you want to be violent. That's neither here nor there. But on the opposite side, when it comes to white folks, we see how many men be snapping. It be women that be snapping too. We watch the Lifetime episodes, but it is a high rate of men, specifically white men, that will snap and kill not only their wife but their kids and then kill themselves. For real.
Been watching this channel for a while, you already know the answer to that one. White men. White women, their greatest danger on this planet in this country is the white man. White people in general, 8 out of 10 times when a white person...
Race of offenders and homicides a white victim. Damn. FBI. Damn.
...is killed, they're killed by a white person.
With that number, and I'm not sure where he got this, it says U.S. NCVS survey data. Even with that number right there, and we see the rate at which white people are incarcerated, going back to the 200 per 100,000 of white people incarcerated, the math ain't mathing if that is the case. If this is the case, race offenders and homicides of white victims. Homicides killed by white victims. White offenders, black offenders, and other races.
In general,
80% is a large percent. White people are killed more by white people. White on white violence. You know the black on black violence thing? White on white violence is never talked about. Because it's not a thing. It's how we talk about these things, man. It's not a thing because they don't exacerbate the aspect of white on white. They only do it when black on black. Because of the numbers. The numbers.
8 out of 10 times when a white person is killed, they're killed by a white person. The grand majority of times when white women are sexually assaulted or murdered, they are killed by white men. These are just the facts. These are just statistics. This is just education. This is just sociology. This is not opinion. This is reality. And this guy, Anton Daniels, look at him looking at her like she's cooking right now.
I don't see anything wrong with anything that she's saying. And more importantly, I guess, if you think about it, I do the same thing. And respectful black people do the same thing. And respectful Asians and Latino people that have a family to go home to.
No.
And things that they want to actually see in their lifetime and they want to live to tomorrow, because it's people that don't have anything to live for. And because we know that if you go into ghetto spaces inside of liberal cities, that it's a possibility that it can go left and it can go up. And for white people, it's even worse because they see y'all as food, because now y'all have been made the enemy. And the poster child for the enemy of America has now become the heterosexual white man. And I've always said that.
Well, again, white men posed a
poster child. And with all that being said, because to an extent, you can't agree, right? With people like Trump in office, right? And people that look at white people basically out of fear. I'm going to just keep it a buck. Look at white people out of fear, like I just said, and what they are able to do to us in this country and get away with it, mind you. It's always devil in the detail. You need context behind what he's saying. You need context. When you have 60% of the population and only 200 of 100,000 go to jail, but you also kill 80% of your own people and only 200 out of 100,000 go to jail, compared to, and I'm just talking about my experience, compared to 1,200,000 that go to jail, specifically the black population. You don't never question that shit. And why should you? Why would you? You know what I mean? You're not a judge. You're not a politician. You're not in the room making bills, passing policies, stopping frisks, ICE type of shit. You feel me? People were so up in arms with the Chicago shit, talking about black folks, you see black folks, they arresting black folks now. Listen to me, come here. Black folks have had ICE before ICE was ICE. We have been always patrolled on, ran down on, before all of this shit. It's normal for us. It's a toxic normal for us. We shouldn't be used to it. I shouldn't be afraid of the fact that if I go down the street in a specific neighborhood, they may look at me, even though it's a nice neighborhood. It's the weirdest shit. Even though it's a nice neighborhood, I'm still afraid. I'm still afraid because I'm looked at the way I'm looked at. But nobody cares about the view of the black person. They only care about the opposite side, whether it be black, Latino, or Asian, and how they view us. Because even situations where Anton Daniels is in those neighborhoods, who's to say that they don't trust his ass either? It's just my thoughts, man. It is what it is.
Greatest risk to white people and white women especially, and so it makes sense that they would be the poster child of violence for white people at the very least. Yeah, if you're a black person, if you get murked, more than likely, statistically, it's going to be by a black person. That's the reality of it. But let's not forget that less than 1% of the entire black population is in prison right now, and almost half of them are in their...
You see the numbers I just said? Nobody talks about the 1%. Yes, 1% is good, but it should be less. That's what I'm trying to say. 1% is actually, it should be less. I say good, but it's really not good. It should be less. It should be less than 1%. And that's what it keeps going over people's heads. It should be less than 1% because of the rate at which people go to jail. It's the rate.
For violent crimes. Furthermore, the grand majority of those crimes are happening in gang-infested, low-income neighborhoods, somewhere where white people typically don't operate. If 8 out of 10 white victims of murder are killed by white men, what rationalization is there for you as a white person to be afraid of black people, to just use this broad brush and say black people are dangerous? She's talking
because of the rate. Because of the rate at which black people go to jail. It proves their fear. You should be afraid because of the rate at which they go to jail, because of the times that you see them on the county news, because of the times that you see them on social media and killing some people, because of the exacerbated rate at which media has basically propagandized black folks as being harmful to you or around you, because of the banks not giving certain black people loans and money and capital, because of the rate at which black folks have been harmed. It's the rate. It's the rate, bro. Like, it ain't no way. I still go back to that number. I'm gonna leave it at this, man, because I'm not really trying to hear too much of Anton Daniels. I'm following him a long time ago when I know what type of time he was on. It just is what it is. The rate. Let's go back to that number again. If white people take up 58%, 60% of the U.S. population, right? I'm just rounding. And they make up 31 to 33. How that black people take up 13% less than Hispanic, and we still make 32 to 38%? How? Just to give you even more bare bones of the actual rate. I can't find a damn number. Yeah, here we go. For example, about 1,240 black people per 100,000 compared to 214 per 100,000, but they make up 60% of America. How? That don't even make sense. That don't make sense. So, yes, black people are put in prisons more than likely falsely. I'm a statistic of the falsely, but put in prison more, put in jails more at a higher rate. It's the rate. That's probably gonna be the name of this damn video. But I that's all I wanted to say, man. We can go back to the what you call them, but I'm just saying, bro. Just think, think. It's like that fucking meme, bro. Think, bro. And like that, we gone. Bun kai. God damn, bro.